And hello, everybody. Welcome. We were just having some fun backstage. Welcome. And I started us up here over on Instagram as well. But again, welcome tonight to another exciting IncrediChat. And tonight we're going to do something a little bit different that we haven't had. We're going to do a panel tonight talking about all the great movies and TV shows that are coming out from the comic book cinematic world. So our guests tonight, we got some really cool guests joining us here tonight, and I'm gonna bring them all in a minute. I think that's I think we're bringing everybody in. Oh, alrighty, good. So folks are gonna be popping in here on Instagram. Give me 1 second while I get these guys all on board with us here. Hold on a minute. Let's see. No, hold on. Sorry, guys. But anyways, while I'm getting Instagram, let me bring in our guests. We got Tim Coulson, Jean Michel from Mega Brain Comics, and our old buddy who did some IncrediChats with us last week, Vinny Reda. Or not last week, last year, right? But guys,
feels like last week.
Last week, I know, because time just doesn't stop here. But anyways, guys, welcome to IncrediChat. It's gonna be a lot of fun tonight. Take a minute and we'll go around there. Tim, Jean Michel, we'll let you go first, and then Vinny, you can reintroduce yourself. Just introduce yourself to our crowds watching tonight.
Cool. Jean Michel, you want to
go? Oh, sure. I am Jean Michel. That is my cat Louise, who just jumped up on the table. I own Mega Brain Comics and Arcade in Rhinebeck, New York. And I met Mike. When did I meet? I met you like almost the first month that we opened, I think, or something like that.
It was early on back in the day.
Yeah.
And Tim.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm just trying to share. I can't do two things at once. I'm not good at that. So. Hi, everybody. My name is Tim Coulson. I'm the founder of the Tri-State Legacy Group. We're an independent financial agency over in Montgomery, New York, and I'm really excited to be here. I love all things Marvel, so I'm stoked.
Samesies.
So I am Vinny Reda. I am a real estate agent with Keller Williams and licensed to sell and in the Orange County, New York, and I'm a lifelong nerd, comic book reader / toy collector / movie buff / curmudgeon. So I'm happy we get all this awesome stuff, but also like quasi jealous that the kids these days don't know the pain that we knew of like getting a glimpse of something like this. You know, like I remember waiting for like the Thanksgiving Day parade, hoping that like the Spider-Man float would be in it.
Yes.
That was like the closest thing we had to a Spider-Man movie. And now like kids just get 4 or 5 movies a year, sequel series, and like tie-ins.
The best thing that we had was Lou Ferrigno painted green.
Oh man, that terrible Spider-Man TV show. We had like metally eyes. Yeah.
And the ropes shooting out of his hand.
It was bad news.
They're so lucky. Everything is on demand. Their entire life is on demand, and I had to wait weeks to hope that a comic book would come in the mail. Like,
yep. I remember the days of subscription comics. I used to get my X-Men mailed to my house.
And then when I didn't pass a class, I would get like grounded from my comics for 6 months. It was awful.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm friends with this artist, Sean Galloway, on Facebook, and he started buying all of the Saturday morning cartoons, like on DVD, and he essentially has Saturday morning cartoons on Saturday mornings for his kids. Gosh. Which I'm like, that is such a great idea.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, you just take a visit Lopez's house. I don't think there's an animated DVD ever created that the man doesn't have.
I'm gonna, since Vinny mentioned that, I'm just gonna like.
Are we gonna see?
Like.
Oh,
wow.
Dude.
Like we got it's all Hanna-Barbera and Warner Brothers, but they were the kings of Saturday morning, right?
Yeah.
He's got all of that. He's got he just posted that he got like pole position.
Oh yes.
Rubik the Amazing Cube.
Who doesn't? We gotta thank Melissa and Laura for sharing My brother's on. I'm on the Facebook feed. I'm watching the content.
Yeah, Sean Galloway is awesome. He did the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon. All those designs for that cartoon were essentially his.
Oh wow,
Really?
That was a great cartoon. That was right at the end, right before Marvel was acquired by Disney.
Yeah, I was always pissed off they never got their last season though.
That and Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Yes. Oh, that was such a good show.
Yep.
I've heard rumors though that Disney might pick up that Spider-Man show and like do a third season.
Yeah.
That just like there's rumors that X-Men may come back as like a continuation. So
What, like the '90s X-Men?
yeah, there's been a rumor because I guess when this started, you got like all this great turnout for people watching the '90s X-Men. So they're considering doing some kind of continuation of that.
Nice.
Yeah, we talked about that on one of the earlier podcasts that we were on. We talked about like how streaming some of these older series, they'll start to watch, people viewing and like, oh wow, like everybody's watching Gargoyles. Let's do something with Gargoyles or do something with '90s X-Men.
Did you ever hear how at one point Jordan Peele had like thrown out the idea? He was like, I want to make a Gargoyles movie. And
Awesome.
And I think it just kept getting pushed because everybody was like, okay, but we want you to do this. We want you to do that. And at this point, it's probably never going to happen.
It has to happen while Keith David's still alive.
Yes. Oh my God. I would love, yes, exactly. Just like Peter Cullen, like you couldn't do anything like, I want to make a Gargoyles movie, Peter Cullen.
Awesome.
And I think it just kept getting pushed because everybody was like, okay, but we want you to do this.
Uh-oh.
Got a little echo there.
Uh-oh, what was that? Okay.
It's all good.
No worries. That was very strange.
Weird.
Technology, right? As we were sitting in there.
So what are we talking about tonight, Mr. Lopez?
Gosh, I guess. Well, we already started on this.
We kind of went down a rabbit hole.
We're talking about Bridgerton, right?
I guess we can really start off over at Disney Plus. As we're sitting here talking about X-Men and Spider-Man and Gargoyles, because I mean Disney Plus. They're trying out all this stuff and they're bringing old and new back essentially, right? So obviously we just wrapped up WandaVision, wearing the Falcon and the Winter Soldier shirt. And I mean, there's so much with Disney in itself and their streaming and what they're planning on. So I guess that's the best place to start. So, and I know there's been so many conversations about WandaVision, but what are your guys' thoughts on what happened with that show, how that turned out?
For me, it brought back. It felt like so nostalgic when I was sitting there watching it. Like I feel like I don't know. I felt like I was a kid sitting with my parents watching TV at night. In a few of the episodes, just because of the formatting, the way that they produced it.
The moment that I saw the set for the '80s. When like as soon as they opened up on that, and I was like, "Holy crap, we're in the Keaton's house right now!"
Yeah,
It touched all the right buttons,
including the painting, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that show on so many different levels. Like I don't even get into like the implications of like the overarching Marvel story, but just as a show itself, how it was a referendum on like old sitcoms and old family shows, and how they actually worked that in to an actual episodes of like the Dick Van Dyke Show and the Brady Bunch and Growing Pains, and like work that into the actual plot of how like Wanda was dealing with the grief of the loss of her brother and her husband and all the things that were going on. Like that was awesome. Like the first two episodes, I could have watched this show just about Wanda and Vision being in other shows. Like it didn't even have to be about the Marvel Universe story. I just would have watched Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany do these things. Like they were just awesome.
Yeah, they have really great chemistry. Like, you noticed it in the movie, but the show, it was great.
Well, one of the cool things about Paul Bettany is like he got to actually like emote and be funny.
Yeah.
Which like he's always been funny, but in these Avengers movies, he had to be the robot.
Yeah.
So it was really fun being able to see him have fun,
and they were never the titular characters in any of those movies, whether it was Avengers or Civil War. You know, they were always a side character, a side plot, or a subplot. So they never really got to flesh those characters out. And having like 9 episodes to really do that was awesome. And to like, they had so much stuff. I mean, they had homages to the Incredibles in there. There was like so much stuff packed into those movies, into those episodes. Sorry, it's kind of hard to pick my favorite stuff, you know. And I know a lot of fans are, as they usually are, critical about certain things about it, you know. But overall, I was really pleased from like from a Marvel Cinematic Universe type of TV person. Also, from a comic book perspective, there was lots of cool stuff from the comics from when we were kids. And then also just from a TV show, like regardless of whether it was tied into anything, it was just good.
Well, I feel like the reason that people were, like the 2 main reasons why people were the most critical were at first, like kind of being forced to watch the show in a way that they're not accustomed to anymore.
Absolutely.
Like, that's how we all watched TV forever. And now everybody's so used to binging that the moment they drop the first 2 episodes, and it's like, but I need to know what happens next. And everybody got so angry that like they didn't know what was going on. It's like, okay, well, you have to tune in later. And then like one of the most impressive things that I think the show did was that kind of after those growing pains, no pun intended, it got the world like kind of watching TV in a water cooler sort of way again. And some shows do that. Like there have been a few shows that have done like the weekly format instead of binging in these last couple of years. But for some reason they did it in a way that like it got everybody like hungry for like the next episode, you know?
And that whole thing about what's going to come next, and absolutely, like, you know, that's how we watch TV. And certainly for a show like WandaVision, where they had these homages to all these old shows, like all those old shows we're seeing on a week-to-week basis anyways, Dick Van Dyke, what have you. I mean, for me, one of my favorite things, and I guess this goes to that whole water cooler talk you were just talking about, I think Paul Bettany, as we're talking about him too, I think he really got everybody psyched out and his little like, oh, I'm getting to work with somebody I've always wanted to work with. And then, I mean, there were the fanboys who were very disappointed at the end but I mean,
I love that it wasn't anybody else but him.
Exactly. I think that's hilarious.
Best troll of the year.
The best thing I ever did was delete my Twitter account. So like I haven't like all that stuff I didn't even notice. All that, like I didn't even know Paul was out there doing that kind of stuff. So I never got like I had my own fan theories because it's a byproduct of reading all the books from when we were kids, right? So we're looking for like the tie-ins. And then you know, so down the road, like I would watch a couple of interviews and I was like, oh wow, he must have really pissed people off with that. I thought it was really clever how they included Evan Peters in the show as Pietro. Well, and guess not Pietro. Spoilers. But then there has to be some other payoff with that. Like I can't see them doing that without it having some down the road type of payoff.
I feel like the entire reason they did that, I feel like that was a total gotcha moment for Kevin Feige and the team. Like I really wanted him to be the Fox hero just to give us the acknowledgement that like the multiverse is finally open.
Well, the one thing too is he's the only character that existed in like Quicksilver existed in the Marvel universe and existed in the Fox universe simultaneously. He was the only character that had 2 versions of himself while this was going on. So I think it's actually pretty convenient for them to have him being dead, I guess, in the Marvel universe and able to using Evan Peters as like a stand-in. And everybody's waiting to find out how they're going to introduce the X-Men into this. And you know what I mean? So like they were probably obviously when he popped in, like, this is it. This is the time. It's like a Hot Tub Time Machine when the guy's throwing the chainsaw and you're just waiting to see him like chop off his hand. We're all just like, because it's not even in like their next 3 year slates. They didn't even announce anything that has to do with X-Men, and there's no way they're not doing an X-Men story. So like, they're
I
purposefully
suspect
holding
that
back.
Eternals is our bridge into the X-Men.
We'll see. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
Well, because and then again, this whole all this trolling from Paul Bettany. Then I mean, you and for those who were following social media, then you're seeing like, ooh, Patrick Stewart, ooh, Ian McKellen. You know, all these people are starting to show up. Which I mean, how awesome would it have been if like Ian McKellen showed up at the end of that, or even Michael Fassbender? I would have taken it. You know, but you know, because again, going back to this whole X-Men universe, are they going to use those same actors or what? I don't know.
Did you hear the interview with Kevin Feige where he was specifically asked like, okay, so now that you've done this thing, can we expect that you're gonna like cherry pick your favorite, you know, characters and actors from the Fox universe? And without so much as saying like, no, we're not doing that, he said something along the lines of, we're trying not to move backwards but forwards when it comes to everything. And I feel like that was his way of saying we're not going to be dipping into that well at all.
No.
I feel like Kevin Feige
is
the kind of guy that has his, like, he has his playground and like his toys, and he doesn't want to use anybody else's toys because he's got his,
right.
He's got his own story in his head, you know?
Right. Yeah. I mean, the biggest question they have to answer with the Marvel Universe and the X-Men is, if mutants existed all this time, why haven't we seen any presence of them? And if they don't, how are they going to start them now? And I think the hardest part with the X-Men is the basis of the X-Men is, and I know we're totally off WandaVision now, right? The basis of the X-Men is really
actually we're kind of not. Professor
X and Magneto, and Magneto is so tied to World War II, and like, so that's what's the hardest part. Like I'm really curious to see how they figure that out, because the crux of the X-Men is obviously you have Magneto on one side, you have Professor X on the other side, but when you can easily update Professor X, but how do you pull Eric Lensher out of obviously the camps in Auschwitz and World War II and the tragedies that happened, like that's tied to his character.
That origin though was not a retcon, but that wasn't his,
right?
Like that was added much later on. Like it's possible they might not do that.
Yeah.
But somebody was saying that because of the whole Westview bubble and everything like that, that is the fact that it touched so many people like multiple times. Like, is that the thing that creates mutants in this world or something like that?
Or the two snaps. Two snaps.
Oh yeah, like excelling that much energy. Yeah.
Well, I want to pull up here, since we're talking about you said the hexagon, right? Let me just pull this up. You guys probably saw this. They released this a couple of weeks ago, right? So there's this, but they put this out. This with all like these little Easter eggs for Spider-Man, and right up there under Home Sweet Home, there's a hexagon, right? So
yeah.
Well, it's either that or it's Peter's formula for web fluid.
Yeah, I feel like it could be the formula.
Do you remember when he was doodling in his notebook in Homecoming, like his web fluid formula, and I think that kind of might be it.
Yeah.
You also see it in the top right.
What's it up? Oh, yeah, I see. So interesting. I mean, like, because that goes back to, did WandaVision have anything to do with what we may see coming up in that Spider-Man flick too?
Well, they have hexagons everywhere, because there's in Ant-Man, like whenever he goes into the quantum realm, like there's hexagons like all over that place. Yeah.
Yeah, and they definitely established in the Thor movies that like there's a fine line between magic and science. Like
Yeah.
So those guys can bridge those gaps with like there's different phases of that, and I really enjoyed it. I thought overall it was really really good. I really personally the PHO thing was rough, but aside from that, I really liked it. White Vision was awesome.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that spoilers everybody again, the fact that the two visions were fighting, and then the new old vision, the
West I call him Westview Vision and Ghost
Westview Vision, yeah. The fact that he stopped White Vision with like a theory, and like if they stopped fighting and he's like, I'm just gonna give you like this riddle and we're gonna talk about the Sympathesius, and like stop. I was like, that was awesome. Like that was great. That was great comic book writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job with the show. I mean, my wife was sitting there watching it with me, and I mean, she wasn't really as into it as me, but I felt like I was just like flashing back to my youth with the way that they did everything. And
Gotcha.
she's younger, so it's yeah. But I enjoyed it.
That was actually a huge like kind of boon to the creators of the show, is the fact that my wife was also watching it and enjoying it.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, and Vinny mentioned this before, and we were talking about it too, is like, 20, 30 years ago when all of us were like in high school, this was what we're doing now was not cool. We were not cool kids. And
the kind of not cool. It's just more socially acceptable.
It was cool within our circles.
Yeah, right. Yes, exactly. But the fact, like, these movies, these shows pick up people that would not normally watch these things. That says a lot about what they're doing with these.
Yeah, and I really liked I try to go deep on all this stuff too, and I think that the way that they fleshed out Wanda dealing with the grief of everything, I like that stuff. Like I'm really into like the deeper backstory and the deep stuff. It intrigues me and gets me really interested. So.
Yeah.
And they made it way more interesting than House of M was great, but that whole storyline of her just kind of being, the hysterical lady who's like, "Where's my babies?" Like they took that, like kind of threw out the fat and then restitched it together with something that had like some serious like pathos to it, which was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, they did an awesome job.
I love the cliffhanger. For anybody who didn't see it, don't pay attention. But that little cliffhanger at the end was great.
Yeah.
Which one?
The ties to Doctor Strange there, because the cool thing about what separates Wanda from the other magicians is like, a lot of guys did the astral projection training thing, but like she was still awake. Everybody else in the Marvel universe that ever did that was always asleep, and they couldn't do two things at the same time.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. She was like, yeah. So she was just kind of chilling outside, and that whole cabin thing. A lot of people talk about it, reminding it about how like Hulk or Banner. Which it reminded me of Thanos.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
When he brought himself to Titan and he was all alone.
Well, the first thing I thought when they started like kind of pushing through the mountains, and then like you kind of realize like, oh, this is her just like kind of chilling out. Like, is that supposed to be Wundagore Mountain?
Wundagore, yeah. I was thinking the same thing, yeah.
Well, for those out there who don't know, who aren't like, who aren't the deep dive nerds like us, Wundagore Mountain is essentially where Wanda and Pietro were. They were born there, right, and then raised there by an anthropomorphic cow and.
I think the only way they probably would know it is there was that Spider-Man Unlimited cartoon that had the Knights of Wundagore in it.
Oh yes, yeah.
Which was a good cartoon.
Yeah. Spider-Man Unlimited. Oh my gosh.
Yep. I talk about nerding out. The whole time I was watching this, I was just wanted there to be a Next Wave show starring Monica Rambeau. Talk about deep cuts. I think there was 6 issues of that. That's one of my favorite series of all time.
So, speaking of Monica Rambeau, okay, the thing that I keep kind of going back and forth with on her and the moment where Jimmy like mentions, well, Captain Marvel also almost beat him, And she was like, well, we're not talking about her. I suspect that somehow Carol is responsible, like in a roundabout way, Carol's responsible for her mom's death or something like that.
Yeah, I'm feeling that.
Maybe she blamed the cosmic, like the being around her with the cosmic energy and all that
Like
stuff.
gave her mom cancer or something like that. Yeah. So
kind of like a Dr. Manhattan type of effect,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because where is Monica going? Because there's obviously we know she's going to be in Captain Marvel too. That's already been announced, and I know the young lady who's playing Miss Marvel is also going to be in that.
Yeah. So do we think she's going to be the new head of S.W.O.R.D.?
Well, because now that's what they're saying. Was that more so for Captain Marvel 2 or for the Secret Invasion show?
Because Nick Fury is up on that space station, which in the comics, S.W.O.R.D's main base is that huge satellite above the Earth.
Skrulls are the new Infinity Stones for this game. We got to start figuring out who's a Skrull. That's going to be a thing, and we may see some characters that died before come back and faked out as Skrulls.
Yeah,
with Doctor Strange and the multiverse thing. Maybe we're going to see new X-Men, but they could, with the multiverse, they could always have Hugh Jackman pop in for a movie as Wolverine.
Would be fun.
I'm hoping that we get a Wolverine that is 5'2", hairy, just
my vote's for
ugly.
I like Taron Egerton. That's my vote. Taron Egerton for Wolverine.
Taron Egerton.
He was in
he was the Elton John.
Yeah. I like him. He was in a couple of
another song and dance man, right?
and whatchamacallit?
Hey, Hugh Jackman, right? The guy's awesome.
If he wasn't too old by this point, because I think he's a little too old. Mine is what's his name? Venom.
Tom Hardy.
Well, yeah, Tom Hardy.
Yeah. I was just thinking Tom Hardy before you said that.
Yeah. And you mentioned that too. Is gosh, what's going on with that movie? Because that's been pushed back. I think they're finished it already, though,
Venom
right?
Too.
Yeah.
I'm I was so into the Carnage and Venom. That was my.
You were a '90s kid, man.
Oh gosh! When I saw that thing at the end of Venom, I was like, oh my gosh! I was like, I just want to skip.
People love Venom so much they like that movie.
My love for Venom kind of stopped at the original Venom, the original storyline. I thought that was great, and then once they kind of branched off, it got real complicated, and I was so I don't know an awful lot about all the other, I know Carnage, but I don't know all those other kind of symbiotes that they were talking about.
I'm when it comes to Marvel, Spider-Man and Venom and Carnage, all these that was my thing, and it might be an overshare, but the tattoos that I have are actually it's the Carnage Venom symbiote.
Your whole body?
No. I have that'd be cool, right? No, I have an amazing Spider-Man suit, skin rot, and the Venom Carnage symbiote's crawling up towards it, and the radioactive spider's going towards it.
Oh, cool.
And I just that good versus evil, trying to get it. It's
Craven has always.
Sorry, I went off on a little poetic tangent there for a second, but what were you saying?
Oh, Craven has always been my top Spider-Man villain.
He's bad. He's a bad man.
He's favorite, the whole Craven's Last Hunt storyline. That is
Torment.
Love it.
Torment too. Torment was great.
Oh yeah. And then
I got about 16 copies of that.
Do you really?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the movie to come out, and I'm gonna throw them on eBay.
Yeah, man.
I had one.
Yeah.
I had what do I got over here?
Yeah, I love Amazon, man. They made my copies of The Boys worth something.
Yeah, we sold as soon as people started watching that show. We sold pretty much all the Boys that we had.
Is that how I'm gonna give you the full screen? Just hold that one up.
Craven's
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
those are some awesome books.
Yeah, one of my favorite storylines. What do you actually, Vin? What do you have on your wall back there? What is
Which
that?
way? This way?
You got Cap and the Hulk, right?
Yeah, Cap. The Hulk is actually. Remember when we were kids?
Here,
you used to
I'm
buy
going to give you the full
records?
screen. You go.
You used to buy.
So give us a tour.
Oh man! Remember when we were kids? They used to make records, audio records.
Oh yes.
So I have a bunch of them. I have a lot of them. I have mostly DC, but this is the one Marvel one I had left.
Nice.
Nice.
Actual records in there. So this cat print, actually my wife gave me as a gift. This is a bunch of junk. Remember Muscle? Were you a fan?
Yeah, Muscle Things. Oh, sweet.
Wow.
And then
Yeah, I got a bunch of junk. I have it's a problem. It's like plastic crap. It's like all video games and action figures. Talk about 90s X-Men.
So does anybody know Joe Ryan? Joe Ryan just said sweet collection.
yes, Joe Ryan is one of our regular watchers here. Hey, Joe, welcome to the show tonight.
I'm
Joe's
not-
Joanne Cumming is all about Venom.
That's actually my brother on my mom's Facebook account.
Okay. And then Serengi, I don't want to mispronounce the person's name. Syringe Niasi, I think.
Yeah, I
maybe?
think he thinks that we all were. I think he thinks we're all professionals that work in the industry.
Oh,
Yeah.
So he's asking if Jamie Foxx is going to be in the new Spider-Man. So Vinny, what do you say?
he is.
Rumor has it that he's supposed to be in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're doing like the whole Spider-Verse, get all the old villains and all the old Spideys together.
Yeah, that Miles Morales movie made them think a couple twice. Yeah, that was a good movie. But
I
Andrew
wish
Garfield.
that Donald Glover was young enough to be the live-action Miles.
That would be cool.
He would be.
How did you guys feel about the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man?
Honestly, I liked the first one a
Yes.
lot.
Yes.
And then they made the second one, and I was like, wait, why are they just making it like all the other? Like they were doing their own thing, like
Yeah.
even the weird suit and everything like that, and like the weird emo skater Peter. Like it was like, okay, I can watch this. And then the next movie they like kind of got scared of it and just pulled back and like went the Raimi route.
Yeah, the first Amazing Spider-Man was actually a lot more comic accurate, I thought, to like Peter's attitude and like, and
I mean, he was definitely a way cooler Peter Parker than Peter Parker actually is.
Yeah,
There he is.
And then the second one, they did all the things wrong that they did in the third Spider-Man movie. They were like,
Rhino.
Yep.
So bad.
They were like, here, you want more villains? Have more villains.
There was actually chemistry between Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield, unlike in the original trilogy. But
yeah,
I mean, we wouldn't have had Tom Holland if it wasn't for those over the movies. I always tell people like, they try to compare those movies, and I was like, but if they didn't make all those mistakes in the first one, we wouldn't know. They would have known what to do.
I love the first two Sam Raimi movies. Like they're fantastic, and that first Andrew Garfield. But I think those movies gave us, in my opinion, the best live action version of Spider-Man. Like everybody learned from those to give us what we got now.
Yeah.
I think part of the other thing too with Amazing Spider-Man 2 was obviously, I think for the first one they were talking with I guess Disney at that point, right? And they were going to try and somehow squeeze the Avengers Tower into the background, and that didn't pan out. And Sony at that point was like, you know what, Spider-Man is not going to be part of the MCU. That's a cool figure.
That's my favorite version of Spider-Man. Peter B. Parker, hobo Spider-Man. Just like there's like stomach sticking out through the whole movie, and like.
I love when Aunt May is like, "Are you wearing sweatpants?" And he's like, "Yes, he is."
And they got Nick from New Girl to do the voice for him. Was like perfect.
Yeah,
I can't say the actor's name right now, but that's one of my as an adult, like I like the grown up version of Peter Parker, like in the late '90s, and like version of Amazing Spider-Man. So like they haven't been able to like recapture that in comic books over the last few years. Like they've kind of like done a lot of crazy stuff with Peter and tried new things, which is cool, but I've never really been able to get that. But I love this version of him.
Well, like one of the downfall, like I love comics. I mean, I own a comic book store, but I feel like one of the downfalls of at least the big two, like Marvel and DC, is that they never allow anything to be there's no permanence. Like, so we don't actually get to legitimately see any of these characters that we love and grow up with actually grow with us. Like, I wanted Batman and Selena Kyle to get married so bad and have like a weird dysfunctional family with like all the different Robins and stuff like that, while Alfred is like walking around behind them like picking up after all of them. And One More Day, like Aunt May, great character, but they should have just let her die. Like it's one of those things that I feel like it would have like added this layer to Peter Parker that like we never would have seen before, and that would have been really interesting. And they just won't do that. It's why I love the have you guys ever read Invincible, Robert Kirkman?
Yeah, I read it all.
Best superhero comic book series I think ever written. It is my hands down favorite.
I have a copy of #1. I'm waiting for the Amazon series to come out.
Yeah, I can't wait. It does everything that I want all of these Marvel and DC comics to do that they're always too scared to do because the marketing department is running everything.
But I would say, I think in regards to DC, I think DC is taking those chances. Like I know, and I'm going to probably be Mr. Unpopular for this. People are loving Superman and Lois on
the TV show,
and it's cool. But like I just have this. I don't like I don't like them having children. B, I like that stupid tension of like Clark is or Lois is in love with Superman, but Clark is there all along and she can't stand him, kind of thing. I love that.
When that stuff was done really well, I liked it. But I really do like them having a family. But I like their comic book family. When it's the two of them, it's their like 11-year-old like precocious Superboy Jonathan Kent, and then his weird relationship with Damian Wayne. Like that's the show I wanted. And
they try to make them have a twin brother who's Damian, and we're all like,
"It's like, come on, man!
You read the wrong comic. Like that, that wasn't like whoever read it just like flipped through it and didn't actually read the words. They're like, oh look, he's got 2 kids. One's emo."
I wrote this whole thing about after I watched the first episode, how the main difference between like Marvel Cinematic and DC Cinematic and TV is that Marvel's not scared to use all of the toys in its toy box.
Yeah.
DC, every time they do something, they're like, okay, let's make this thing, but don't use the suit. Like, we're just going to tease that, or do this thing, but don't put the actual hero in there. And it's like, if you want to make a Batman show, just make a goddamn
Batman show.
Like, you own Batman. Like, the weird thing is,
at least they finally made a Superman show.
Yeah.
We watched 4 years of Supergirl to earn this. Like, come on, man. No offense to Supergirl. Like, that's all we want.
I liked the Supergirl show for the first like 2 or 3 seasons.
Was on it.
I liked Supergirl until they got into a soapbox, because I think that's the problem with some of the CW shows is that they have underlying messages. For me, I think talking about toys in the toy box, Stargirl is phenomenal.
Stargirl.
Oh, I haven't watched it.
Oh my God,
really good.
A great show.
Yeah.
It's weird to me that like Marvel will bend over backwards and spend billions of dollars just so that they can use the awesome characters that they have.
Yeah.
And Warner Brothers owns all of their stuff, and they won't use them.
Well, because I remember when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, people were expecting that to be the first flop. People were like, this movie's not going to do it. And look what happened. Look at that. Jeez.
That's why my vote was for next wave. Nobody's going to see that coming. Nobody even knows who Guardians of the Galaxy were. So who do nobody? Rocket Raccoon, really? Like, come on.
Hey man, while they're at it, they could do the new universe. Pull out DP7.
That's right.
Oh my gosh.
That's right. All right, back to WandaVision. We have totally.
Tangent.
Yeah.
Which is fine because I mean, WandaVision is over, so now we're going into Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So now I guess we're going to see other things that have gone on since the end of Endgame.
Right.
You know, and you know, we were talking about Wanda and her powers and Doctor Strange and his powers. There's a clip going around where you see you see Bucky and Sam talking about sorcerers. Like that's one of the So I mean, they're going to be touching upon, I guess, everybody in this film, in this series as well.
Well, Vinny, you were saying also like you're not sure like when they're thinking about like introducing mutants or anything like that.
Yeah.
But Falcon and Bucky, like we get Madripoor in this show, which like that is some serious like
that's deep X-Men cuts right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like so I don't know I don't know what to expect from the show. I hope like I know it's not going to be as weird and like strange as WandaVision, but I hope we get some like just really good storytelling and some like good surprises.
Well, I'm excited that I can't think of his name, but it's Kurt Russell's son is playing U.S. Agent.
Yeah,
Kurt Russell's son.
Is his name Kyle? Is his name Kyle?
I think so.
It's Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell's kid. He was in a really good movie. Oh my God, it was a horror movie when they played World War II. There was like soldiers, and there was like J.J. Abrams directed it, or he produced it. It came out a couple of years ago. I can't.
Is it Wyatt or Boston Russell?
Wyatt Russell. Wyatt Russell.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen him.
He's playing U.S. Agent. Yep.
But
he was in a horror movie about 2 years ago that was really good. I can't think of the name of it.
Overlord?
Overlord. Thank you.
I've never even heard of that.
Oh, dude, watch Overlord. It's awesome.
It's a J.J. Abrams movie?
He produced it. I can't remember who the director is. But he's in
Love
it.
That.
And the I believe the other actor. Oh my God, I can't remember now. I gotta break off and do the old search.
Yeah, but I am excited about like the more clips I see. Nick, one of the guys that works at my shop, he was saying like if they can pull this off as like a buddy road kind of TV show, like, I would love that.
Absolutely.
I think that's, if you see some of the trailers, I think that's what they're kind of going for, because there is the tension between the two of them.
Yeah, and like there's this weird like Bob Hope Bing Crosby thing that they got going sometimes.
I heard somebody even compare it to like Tango and Cash.
Oh yeah. I guess, right.
I don't know.
I'm not that old, but I guess I'm a little bit old.
But I mean, and I mean, certainly, you know, we're talking about characters that have the opportunity to be introduced. And it could happen in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. My thought is really for Black Widow. I'm wondering if we're gonna see Doctor Doom soon.
Oh, I hope. Favorite villain of all time.
But you got to think, right? Like, you got major. They're gonna probably save these, you know, tentpole villains for the big phases. So, like, I think Doom is one. Kang, right?
But you know what they can do to introduce Doom, and I always said this would be like Doctor Doom is tough. He's awesome because like just the marriage of science and magic in him and just his insanity is amazing. But it's still on paper a tough sell to tell people like there's this tiny country where, you know, there's a man in a suit of armor and a cape that like.
How many times can we pull off Wakanda? You know. But
I think that the way that you sell that is first you introduce the country.
Yes.
Like you like drop hints about, you know, Latveria, and then maybe show some news clips or something, or some weird footage, and just dribble out stories about it, so that by the time you get to a guy in a suit of armor, like in a cloak with like crackling magic, you believe it.
Yeah.
And that's why I think one of those, I think either Falcon, Winter Soldier, or Black Widow, I think both of those lead themselves to do exactly that. Just give you like a little
Well, Black Widow's a prequel.
yeah.
So,
But we can still hear about it.
So, and I mean, we're going to get a lot of Marvel this year because we're getting all this stuff from 2020 as well.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, what they say.
Taskmaster is going to end up in Falcon and Bucky, though. Do you remember? I don't remember what number it is, but there's that issue where John Walker finally takes over the mantle of Captain America.
Yeah.
And the government is trying to train him so that he can fight like Steve. And they actually hire the Taskmaster to teach him how to like throw the shield and how to like do all of the combat. So I'm wondering
that's who Wyatt Russell's playing is John Walker.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then so that's gonna be, and I think that's a cool cast for him too.
Yeah.
Because he has some Chris Evans vibes to him, you know.
Hey, I gotta look up a picture of this guy. I feel like let me see.
But why are you doing that? Yeah, like Vinny was saying, this year we're gonna see a ton of Marvel. They said there's gonna be something Marvel every week. Whether it be a Disney Plus or theatrical. So this week, what they're doing, like WandaVision ended last week. This week, they're doing like a behind the scenes of WandaVision thing on Disney Plus. Next week is Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Then they're going to do behind the scenes. And I think that brings us right into May when Black Widow is coming out. Like every Friday, they said expect like a new Marvel thing, because then we have What If later this summer. We have Miss Marvel coming. I think She-Hulk.
Don't forget about Loki.
Loki.
Loki, man.
Summer. So
I'm excited for Loki.
Oh my god!
Oh, yeah.
I watched the trailer last night again. Like,
well, this is gonna be like a full on like time.
Well, the whole plot of Loki is that he's like a time agent.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be like, now that he's basically like loosed from time because of the events of Endgame, they're basically like have him going, and rumor has it, Lady Loki is the main villain.
What?
Yeah. So there's going to be the gender bend of Loki is going to be the bad guy in it.
Oh.
And like her universe is destroyed, and she's the last remaining person, and she's like essentially trying to replace like all the other Lokis and stuff.
That's interesting. I mean, they could have used Hela. Like, I feel like they.
Good luck getting Kate Blanchett to do a Disney.
To do another one, yeah.
They got her on the first one, and she crushed it as Hela. Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Awesome movie.
Oh yeah, it was.
She like dropped the mic and was like, "I'm done."
Yeah, one of them. But yeah, the plot for Loki is going to be interesting. I think it's going to have a lot of implications for stuff that goes forward in the Marvel universe, because there's a lot of other stuff besides the X-Men too. Don't forget, we got Fantastic Four, Namor, and Silver Surfer out there too.
Yeah,
I really believe Namor is going to show up in Black Panther too. That's what I feel.
I hope so, but that's another one that like the crappy
unknown kingdom.
Is, like, it's tied up in lawyers, which sucks.
Yeah.
You know.
Who do you want cast as Namor?
Oh, dude, Daniel Day Kim. I always thought, after watching Lost, I was like, yes. He would be an awesome Namor.
That'd be great. That would be great. Yeah.
What about you?
I don't know. I'm like always stuck. Like I can never pick one. I don't know.
Yeah. I like the Daniel Day Kim one. I think that's good.
Daniel Day Kim is really, really good.
He might be a little old at this point, though. I feel like they keep trying to cast people that they know they can get some mileage out of.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because that's the thing. At some point, like, you know, they'll have to maybe not in our lifetimes, but they'll have to reintroduce like a new actor as Tony Stark and start these all over again at some point.
Yeah.
Right?
They'll reboot, like, you know, everything.
Yeah.
But, you know, hopefully Kevin Feige is gonna be, you know, wheeling along his wheelchair, making sure everything's still going according to plan.
Well, because that's
Yeah.
how are you going to reboot perfection? Because I mean, like these Marvel movies, I mean,
Yeah,
they're pretty flawless.
And the thing is, they don't really need to. They have like thousands and thousands of characters and teams and stuff that they could just do this stuff and never reuse a character, which would be awesome.
That's weird. That's weird to think about. I never even really thought about that. That it would get reused like after I'm dead.
Yeah.
Or that
But if there's one character and one actor in the whole Marvel universe that you never want to see stop doing it until they can't do it anymore, who is it?
Oh.
For me, it's Helmsworth as Thor.
Yeah.
I think he's underrated, and I think he was. If you look back at the first two, he was definitely trying to like get his personality out there, and they wouldn't let him. And then they finally unleashed him in Ragnarok.
Eyebrows.
Yeah. And then when they unleashed him in Ragnarok, and he's just been great. He's spot on. To me, I would love to see Old Man Thor. Like all that stuff would be great. Just keep going.
I love Chris Evans as Cap.
Yep.
Like he really he just knocked it out of the goddamn park, and like I feel like anybody jumping into that role would be like just an imitate. Like they would keep trying to do what he did, and it would just be like a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy.
Winter Soldier is my favorite. So
what?
The Winter Soldier is my favorite movie out of the whole.
Oh yeah. So
that one was amazing.
I have a tie. It's a tie with Winter Soldier and Homecoming because
it's tough.
Yeah, that is tough.
Yeah.
I think the two Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland are solid. I really enjoy it.
The second one really disappointed me.
I watched it a couple of times, and I think it's better with. I think that one gets better with rewatches.
Yeah.
Well, I think in comparison to the other Spider-Man movies, like you watch those and like he really is, and his friends, they're all teenagers in high school.
Yeah.
And like just
as opposed to 40-year-old Tobey Maguire who going to high school.
And it has like that like it's almost even like watching back in the 90s, like a teen comedy, right? You have Zendaya and the guy that plays Ned and all that stuff, and like just there's comedy in it, but then there's the superhero stuff. I don't know. They're enjoyable movies for me.
I love those. Like it's like he really is the best live action Spider-Man that they could have gotten.
Agreed. But, Tim, who do you think? Who's your pick? Who's going to carry the shield, Falcon or Winter Soldier?
I agree with Jean Michel about the Cap thing. It's so hard because he was like almost iconic in that role. I feel the same way that you do. Like I do feel like anyone doing it after is gonna. They're just not. The shoes are too big. I feel like it's the same thing with I think Robert Downey Jr. did an amazing job. I can't. Like, I don't know. I wanted to cry at the end of the freaking movie. It's like weird, dude. It's like I grew up with this. My 11-year-old son, we used to sit on the couch watching the first Avengers movie together when he was like 2. So it's like to think of other people doing it. I don't know. I could see it being Falcon, but I would want it to be Bucky. I think Bucky's awesome. I really like the Winter Soldier character. I liked him in that movie.
I kind of hope by the end of it, nobody takes it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that this show culminates with everybody realizing you cannot replace Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
If you go back to it's true. If you go back to the first Captain America movie and you just watch the through line of the Bucky Steve bromance, it is like the best storyline in the entire movie series. You're like, these dudes are just like trying to hang out, and the world keeps ending and getting away with it. Like it's just hilarious.
And that's another solid movie too. The first Captain America movie, like what a great movie that was.
That's another one that they haven't really made another Marvel movie kind of in that tone.
Yeah,
like they were still trying to figure stuff out, and when you watch that, it feels like you're watching an Indiana Jones movie.
Exactly.
Like, I love that film.
Yeah. I know there are a lot of people who are not giant fans because, oh, it's a period piece. But then you got to understand, where did Captain America come from? You know, and, you know, working in a school, like I always like to, you know, use these things for my classes and stuff. And you know, like you have World War I with Wonder Woman, and you have World War II with Captain America. I mean, my God, if you really want to show like wars, Captain America is so much more fun.
First Avengers, amazing movie. Just the sets,
Oh, yeah.
the costumes.
Have you guys noticed on Disney Plus that they have when you're scrolling through their Marvel section, you get to a point where it has it all listed in chronological order.
Oh, is it really? I didn't know.
Like they have it organized by phases, and then when you go underneath the phases, it has chronological, and it starts with Cap, and then it goes to Captain Marvel, and then I think it goes to Iron Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you know, so on and so forth.
I'm not gonna lie, that's how my my Disney Plus shelf is. I do have
Nice.
Hey man, with everything that's going on nowadays, you know, with all the nonsense of social media and stuff, and them editing and taking things down, physical media made a comeback this summer or this year. Sorry,
you're absolutely right.
I actually started buying DVDs again because when I realized there's been all these reports about like Amazon and all the streamers and how like you buy movies from like Amazon, and I have like a library, and it turns out you don't actually own them.
Yeah,
like
you lose your movie.
Yeah. So and I never really thought about that, and I was like, oh crap.
You figured you own the license, you'd have the license forever.
Yeah.
I didn't never realize that they can take it back or edit it or change it.
Yeah, so I've stopped buying digital films and stuff, and video games too, I'm pretty sure.
My brother's gonna yell at me because I just yelled at him like a month ago about how like physical media is dead and he's dumb for buying DVDs and stuff. And now like the world changed in a week, and I was like, oh crap, now I gotta go back to buying DVDs.
I mean, hey, if you got those Pepe Le Pew DVDs, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, man, there's something about pulling. I used to have I called it my Blockbuster video shelf, and it was just all my DVDs and collection stuff. Just taking one off and popping one in the Blu-ray. My uncle Steve, he's like an old school collector. He used to rip me for getting Blu-ray. He hates Blu-ray.
Really?
Yeah, I'll connect him with you guys, and you all can argue the merits of not having a Blu-ray. But this guy, he curses Bluray on social media.
He's like, it's all about laser discs.
Did he have stock in HD? Is that what happened? You know what I mean?
It's wild. He's like every other day I'll see a random post on Facebook, F Blu-ray, and I'm like, what the heck, dude? Like,
he really put his eggs in the HD DVD basket. We didn't realize it's like.
What was that other thing that came out around the time as Blu-ray? Was it DivX or something?
Oh,
DivX. Where you watch 3 times races.
DivX was a retailer-made format. Remember, I think it was like specifically made for Circuit City or something. Yeah. And they had DivX players when DVDs came out. It was DVD and DivX.
Well, no, it was Blu-ray. It was Blu-ray and DivX. That was the thing. And then like you would buy the DivX, and I think they were a little bit cheaper than the Blu-ray, but like you could watch it like 3 times, and then it would like
timed out.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna throw the cat out.
Okay. Fred Flintstone style.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to Falcon and Winter Soldier. What, Lopez? What unannounced Marvel character are you looking forward to being in the Marvel universe at some point?
Wait, the beginning of that?
What unannounced Marvel character are you looking forward to being announced, or at some point making their debut in the Marvel universe?
What you think? You know, like I mean, outside of I don't know. This is a.
I know. I'm actually mad at myself for asking this question because I don't even know the answer.
Yeah, I hope this question doesn't make its way to me.
Right, here's your answer right here.
Oh, you're right. I love the next wave, man. I totally recommend anybody who wants to read a funny comic book. That was the funniest 12 issues of my life. I think Stuart Immonen drew it back before he was popular. And I want to say Brian Vaughan wrote it, right? I think it was Brian K. Vaughan.
But like,
Or Warren Ellis. It was Warren Ellis. Sorry, excuse me.
So that's
Warren Ellis.
like you're talking about characters that haven't been announced yet, like
or at least characters that haven't shown up yet. Let's put it that way.
So, are we talking strictly characters that haven't been like live action at all?
No, you can. Let's just say any character that hasn't appeared in the Disney Marvel Universe movie.
But that because that's hard because
the Disney proper movie.
Honestly, what I would say, I'd like to see them do a real version of the Runaways.
Yeah,
because I think that TV show was away.
So close to being good.
Yeah,
I would love. The reason I asked that question is because I would love to see an actual good version of Ghost Rider.
Oh,
like to have Kevin Feige like.
Keanu Reeves, man.
Story.
Keanu Reeves is Johnny Blaze.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good at this. Actually, Jean Michel, my brother, said he wants Craven.
Oh, yeah. Well, apparently Sony is making a Craven movie.
Yeah.
And which I'm very scared about. Because it's another one of those situations where I love Craven. I love Dr. Doom. Well, actually, Dr. Doom might be an exception for me. But I don't think you should ever make a movie about a villain without the hero.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, like, it just doesn't.
Unless you've established it, and like it's spun off.
Yeah. Well,
like, I feel like, I was saying, because Dr. Doom I could deal with because his story is like, I don't know, the books of Doom, when you go from like his birth to his present, like you could have like a TV show, like a WandaVision level TV show just about him. But I feel like with something like Craven, I don't want to see his origin. I just want to see them film Craven's Last Hunt. I want to be introduced to this character that, like, it's already established that he's the world's greatest hunter or whatever, and then he ends up seeing this creature, this Spider-Man, and realizes that's his bucket list right there. And after that, he can go. Like, I feel like it would be like almost Old Man Logan, or Logan, level.
Logan.
I think Craven. I think Craven would actually fit in well in this new Spider-Man movie. Like, as coming, Mysterio, spilled the beans as to Peter Parker being Spider-Man. Now Craven can hunt him down. I think that'd be the perfect place to introduce him.
Yeah. And those storylines were always great when, Peter's just going about his day. He's swinging through the city. He's happy. And then next thing you know, spider sense is tingling. And then it's like somebody shooting an arrow at his head. And he has no reason why, no thought of why or who this person is.
I think aside from Next Wave, I have to say, like, if there were to be, I'm trying to think. I would like for them to expand, like with the Ghost Rider and stuff like that. I'd like to see Johnny Blaze, and I know they announced Moon Knight, but I'm really looking forward to seeing Moon Knight. And I don't know if they cast anybody yet. Officially.
Yeah, it's what's his name?
Poe Dameron.
Yeah,
Poe Dameron. It's official. I thought that was just a rumor.
No, it's official.
Oh, cool! I'm down with it.
Isaac's well, right? And then Tim, you said Punisher.
I did.
But we have the Punisher.
You don't like?
Did we really have the Punisher though? I liked Tom Jane as the Punisher. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion.
I like the movie. It was weird, but it was a good movie.
I feel like they never did anything else with it because I think there was like some type of breakdown between Tom Jane's camp and whatever. Yeah. But I really wish that they would have expanded on that, and I think it would be cool to see something. I know that we had the Netflix thing.
Yeah.
I don't really count that. I don't know. I couldn't get into it. Like anytime I thought of him, I thought of Walking Dead, and it never clicked for me.
I never finished the second season. Like, it just didn't do it for me.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it would be cool to see him.
I liked Punisher Warzone. I liked Ray Stevenson.
That was a good movie too.
He was wild in that movie. Yeah. No,
bananas.
It was absolutely bananas. Like, I'm thinking about it, like it was crazy. But
Yep.
I don't know. I like the.
I
I
wasn't
think it would
crazy
be cool.
about Dominic West as Jigsaw. He kind of like did his like Joker impersonation.
Yeah.
Totally.
But
So
Thomas Jane was actually, before they cast Chris Evans, he was like my fan cast for Captain America.
Really?
yeah, I
Because
can see that.
So I actually do, you know, cliche. I'm a nerd that doesn't like to watch sports, but I love sports movies.
Okay.
And the movie 61 that Billy Crystal made about Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris,
yeah,
Thomas Jane's Mickey Mantle like was Steve Rogers. Like if you go back and watch that movie, it's like, holy crap! Like every time I watched it, I was like, oh my god, he should be Captain America. And I was kind of disappointed when he wasn't. And then, you know, you got that first image.
That was prime Tom Jane though, that movie.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's my
surprised when they
vote.
cast that
I know
movie.
it's like, I don't know, for whatever it's worth, but I've always been a fan of the Punisher, and I feel like they never. I don't know. I just feel like we never really got a good version. You know, it's like one of those things.
I know who I would pick, but it's kind of a double act, and I want to see like Kitty Pryde, like original Kitty Pryde with Lockheed. Like I want those two like in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I dig it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the actress's name that was in Bumblebee. What's her name? She's got an Apple Plus TV show right now.
Oh,
I know who you're talking
Haley
about.
Steinfeld.
Hailey Steinfeld. It's Kitty Pryde. I'm in.
She would be awesome. Yeah, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
Now,
Absolutely.
because I heard that Ironheart's coming too. I don't know if they cast Ironheart yet. Did they?
Yeah, they
haven't heard.
did. I forgot who the actress is. Like young actress. I haven't seen her. You know, in anything. But yeah, she and Kamala Khan are both cast.
Yeah, I knew all that because they're filming the Kamala Khan show already. Because I think
Ironheart's getting her own show, and they're doing her own movie, and they're doing an Armor Wars.
Armor Wars.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Non-Marvel. My vote. I'm still waiting for my Batman Beyond movie. I'm a Terry McGinnis fan.
Oh, dude, if they do that with Michael Keaton as Bruce,
They have to before he dies.
oh my god, that would be so good. Would be
Yeah.
so good. And that's another one of those things where like just make it. Like you have it, just make
It's
it.
right there. It's right there.
Like,
It's right there.
make it before it's too late.
And
That-
you know he would do it.
That's the sad thing about DC. Like DC is owned by Warner Brothers. Like, you know what? I get it. Marvel has changed hands, and that's why they had all these problems with Fox and Sony. Marvel has always had all these financial problems, and that's why they gave everybody all these rights to do all these things. Warner Brothers has always owned DC, and they have never really been able. I mean, the animated stuff, phenomenal, right?
That's the thing I don't understand.
New stuff.
Make these amazing animated movies and make such crap films.
They don't know what to do.
That being said, I'm looking forward to the Snyder Cut.
Ugh.
I'm a big Snyder fan, and I'm looking forward to the Snyder Cut.
I
love that.
okay, I guess we're talking about the Snyder Cut now.
I'm a Batfleck man. I'm a Batfleck man through and through and through.
Okay, so this is the thing. I didn't hate Ben Affleck. I didn't hate Ben Affleck in the suit. I didn't hate his demeanor. Like his Bruce Wayne was not bad.
Yeah.
I hated the story that he was used in. That like I hated the character that he was made to use. Like
So
to play.
you know what I read was originally when they first had Man of Steel come out, they weren't intending on doing a combined universe. And then when they saw what was going on with Marvel and Avengers came out that same year and everything was getting white hot.
Yep.
Not that I would take Ben Affleck out of those movies because I love him more so than this other gentleman. If you watch the Dark Knight trilogy and then you put Christian Bale in Batman versus Superman, he makes sense.
Yeah. Well,
that was originally intended to be Bale, as a grizzled, don't want to be a Batman anymore Batman.
Well, that was one of the things that I didn't like about. That's one of the things I don't like about that universe is that he took the Dark Knight Returns and sort of smashed it together with like, you know, prime age, brand new Superman, and it's like what I want to see is I want to see the world's finest. Like I want to see young Superman, young Batman. They may have a little bit of a misunderstanding, but then become awesome friends because for some reason they make great friends.
I like Batman versus Superman, but the reason why Batman and Superman's animosity towards each other is so interesting is because it took years for it to develop.
Exactly.
Like they didn't just meet each other instantly not like. Well, they probably instantly not liked each other, but you know they just were rivals for years and years and years, and so it was a little unearned in that movie. I just adore them.
Superman.
I also feel like he just started like he got Superman wrong in my opinion. So like once you get Superman wrong, and it's like a domino effect with everything else.
We got to do a separate podcast as to why I think Superman was right. Because one of my favorite movies of all time is Man of Steel.
Oh,
yeah, I actually, you know, I think that
lost my glasses.
Vinny.
I agree with Vinny. I thought this Superman was good to go.
I don't dislike different versions. I don't dislike other parts, but I can sit down with you and talk about Man of Steel. And I think I mean, listen, man, come on, Christopher Reeves is good, but if you watch those movies, if you watch those movies again, like Christopher Reeves is a cold-blooded killer, dude. Everybody gets mad that Henry Cavill snapped Zod's neck, dude. He throws a depowered Zod down a ravine to his death, dude. I mean, come on.
I love Christopher Reeve. I think he's great, but he's not
those
the best
movies anymore because for some reason
Oh.
the scene where Lois Lane gets smothered under the earth traumatized me as a kid, and I can't watch those movies.
Who was your best version of Superman? I know we're getting off topic here, but
best version of Superman, like
no, Jean Michel. You said that Christopher Reeve isn't your one. Who's your one?
I mean, Kevin Conroy. I feel
Superman.
Not Kevin Conroy.
Tim Daly.
The Superman animated series, in my opinion, is the the pinnacle of that character. Like that is
absolutely
how you do Superman.
I agree with you. And I think overall in a bubble, if you have to have one version of Superman to tell everybody, take that series and that's it.
I don't think anybody's done it. I don't think anybody's done like a version in live action that I'm like, oh, you finally got it. Like Tom Holland to me, I'm like, that is the Spider-Man that like I remember reading as a kid on the screen.
Yeah. To me, Zack Snyder and Henry Cavill's Man of Steel is an immigrant story. It's not really a version of Superman that has anything to do with the classic great American hero. It's really about somebody who feels like he doesn't belong and everything on the planet is telling him he's not supposed to be here, and he's just fighting through that in order to find his place.
And they almost got it right, but the one because when they announced that movie, I was so excited for it. Especially the moment that they said that Kevin Costner was going to be Jonathan Kent. And I was like, oh, he's the perfect Pa Kent.
He is.
And that's where they got it wrong, though. The moment that you have Superman's parents not telling, like, the moment you have Superman's dad saying, like, I don't know if you should have saved that bus full of kids.
Yeah,
like,
see, I'm a dad, though. I'm a dad, so I can see Kevin Costner. I would tell my kids the same thing, too.
I know. I get that. I'm a dad, too, and I would do, but that's, but we're not Jonathan.
Fuck those kids, man. Fuck those kids.
But that's where Superman becomes Superman, though, is
Yeah.
like
Well, that's the cool thing about the story. It's like it's not called Superman; it's called Man of Steel.
yeah.
So a lot of people, like when you watch that movie, like you actually see him put on the suit. Like this is about him. He hasn't figured that out yet. Like he learns how to fly in that movie. Like all those things. Like when he fights Zod, he's just learning how to fly.
I get that.
So
like,
yeah.
But the learning how to use his powers is one thing. But I feel like Superman from go, like as soon as he's found by these two people in this isolated little place, like his moral compass, no matter what time period it is always pointing in the right direction, because they're always saying like help who you can when you can, and like always do the right thing. And he got like these values that the rest of the world, I feel like even when Superman was first created, the values that his parents were teaching him were still values that the rest of the world was not living by. And that's the thing that carries him through like all the different decades, you know?
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. And that's the classic that's the evergreen version of Superman.
Did you ever read Mark Waid's Birthright?
Yeah, of course.
That's my favorite comic book origin of him, because it's that's, I feel like, a really good blueprint for how to do Superman in a modern time. Yeah.
I always appreciate, for whatever reason, I always like the fact that he's always going to be his own worst enemy, because there's really nobody that he doesn't have a pinnacle. So for me, having a Superman that had doubt, really actually, that's really his kryptonite. So I really appreciated the version that they did in that movie of him, which is not the paragon of Superman. Like, yeah, like I agree with you. Like that's not the evergreen version of Superman. This is like a little bit different. And for whatever reason, the protagonist or the hero of the story, whether it's he or she, I like them questioning. I like them questioning themselves. I like them seeing like, well, do I put myself first? You know, and I love that it actually put nuance into Superman, which you don't find in a lot of Superman.
I feel like you get that a lot of times in his stories, but usually it's like a later version of Superman, like at the times when he's like, I want to be with Lois, or I want this, or like when he starts to want things in his life.
Kingdom Come Superman.
Yeah, Kingdom Come Superman.
Dark Knight Returns Superman.
Yeah. Dark Knight Returns Superman is. Oof.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are talking about this, and this is another side. We could have always gotten this guy.
Oh yeah.
I've actually not seen that movie yet.
Oh,
I haven't watched it yet either.
I'm too scared. I actually don't like horror movies.
But
wait,
is it?
It's good because you can see where things maybe went the other way.
And that's the thing is like I watch all the Snyderverse stuff that he makes, and at this point I just see it all as Elseworlds.
Exactly.
And we
still. I mean, it's all Elseworlds. It's all Elseworlds. I mean, there's all versions of it. So
yeah. Right. I'm still like Batman. I love Batman. But you got a cat too.
But the cool thing about it is like
his name is Thor.
Thor?
Thor the cat, yeah.
Oh, nice. I still feel like we haven't gotten a definitive comic book version of Batman on screen either. Like I feel like
it was close.
Not at all.
I feel like I'm waiting for the Denny Cohen, Neil Adams version of Batman to be on screen. I want the detective. They keep giving us like the fully armored like Batman, but I still have yet to see them pull off the detective part of the Dark Knight detective.
Yeah.
That's what the Pattinson version is supposed to be, but it looks like it's still going to have the black leather edge to it, you know.
Yeah, which I don't know. I think they should put that character away for like 5 years. Like don't touch anything. Like don't make any Batman side character stuff. Don't make any Batman stuff. Just 5 years, put him on the shelf, and then like unwrap him and give him to some new.
You act like we're gonna live forever, man. I want one every year, bro. I don't care if it's good or bad. I want Batcat. I want Batman. I want Batpeople. Bro, I'm gonna be dead one day, and they're gonna still make Batman movies. That pisses me off.
That's true. That is true. Actually, I will say I would love to see a Gotham by Gaslight live
Yes,
action.
the anime. Didn't they do an animated?
It is animated. I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, get on it. It's good.
I'd like to watch. I'd like to see that live action. I think that could be cool.
But it's funny that you're talking about this. So I had Lance Falk, who worked. He's an animator. He works at Universal now, but he worked over at Warner Brothers. And him and I were talking about this same thing because we were talking about like Hanna-Barbera characters because Warner Brothers owns them.
Oh my gosh, Hanna-Barbera.
And that's why. And you have a comic shop, right? We and next month what do we have coming out? Scooby-Doo with Batman and Batman.
Oh yeah, they've done that a few times.
Of course, and that's what he was saying, because Warner Brothers won't touch with the DC characters. They're very cautious about whatever. But Batman, that's like printing money. Scooby-Doo.
Yep.
We'll just keep rolling out whatever crap.
Those two wheels.
I realize I'm part of the problem. I realize that I buy all this stuff.
I buy it.
Batman is essentially Warner Brothers Mickey Mouse.
Exactly.
He's even got the ears.
But at least Disney figured it out. That's the problem with Warner Brothers. And I agree with what Mike said before. They just like those guys. They can't even tie their shoes right.
Yeah. I don't know. I am gonna watch the Snyder Cut, all 4 hours of it, but.
Are you guys gonna go back and because I'm thinking about my girlfriend's like, oh,
don't rewatch it.
What?
Don't rewatch it.
I watched it.
What?
I tried to watch it.
No. I said to her, are we gonna? I said she hasn't seen Man of Steel. I'm like, do you want to watch Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, Wonder Woman? I can kind of live without. I wasn't a fan of the first one.
Wonder Woman was good. Wonder Woman
was good.
I loved it except for the last 20 minutes.
I liked Wonder Woman.
She's our kids' generation. She's their Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She can't act, but she's super charming. You can't stop watching her.
I thought Wonder Woman 84 was awesome.
You're the only one. You are the
only one. No, you know what did it for Wonder Woman 84? Why I liked it? Because we were talking about Superman before. It felt like that.
It feels like Ray Superman. It does. I'll give you that. Absolutely.
It had that feel.
The only thing about the Wonder Woman movies that I find so funny is like, obviously it's a really good opportunity to have forefront of like there's no women on this podcast, so we're the worst examples of this. But like forefront female character, and like the first Wonder Woman movie, they put we have these Amazons on an island for 8,000 years, and there's no scientific advancement. They're still riding. It's 1940, and they're still riding horses and shooting bows and arrows. Like it's so insulting to women. And then Wonder Woman goes to like London, and she's like tripping over herself like a silly little secretary. Doesn't know how to talk to people. It's like they should be the smartest people on the planet. You know what I mean? They have like all this ancient mythological technology.
Actually, I see where they should be the equivalent of Wakanda, is what you're saying.
Right, exactly. Yep. And that movie came out the same summer, so I'm like watching like Black Panther, and I'm like, oh, they got this right. Like Marvel figured out how to make this insulting.
I never really thought about that.
Wonder Woman's so insulting to women, and then the second Wonder Woman, they're like, oh, 70 years passed, and she still can't get over that guy she slept with one time 70 years ago. Like, and it's like, I mean, she's kind of Wonder Woman.
And the thing is, if you think about it, if he didn't die, like, she's immortal. He'd be like 100.
Yeah.
Like, she would have outlived him also.
And here's the deal with Wonder Woman. Like, I love the Christopher Reeves aspect. You're totally right, Mike. But like, she's like a mythological character. Like, why the heck is she hanging out in a mall? Put her in like. She doesn't have to. We don't even have to have movies with her. Like reality, she could be like. We could be doing like Thor's type stuff with her. Like put her in different dimensions. Put her in hell. Have her fighting minotaurs and stuff like that. Who cares about Pedro Pascal? I just watched him on Mandalorian. That movie sucked.
What do you wish?
I like his whole part of that movie. I just did not like.
And they insulted Neil Gaiman by having a Sandman reference in that movie.
Wait, they had a Sandman reference?
The Wishing Stone is from the Sandman.
Oh.
That stone is from the Sandman. That's the Undying.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Didn't even think about that.
Yep. Because you were too busy wondering why that movie sucks so bad.
Yeah.
They had a whole extra year that it didn't come out to fix it.
Yep.
Well, again,
then they put Linda Carter in it like that. And they could have made a really good reason. They could have had a really good analogy with Linda Carter.
Like they could have had her in the movie.
Right. She should have went, instead of that stupid armor thing, she should have had to find her and earn it.
Yep.
Yeah, it was. Don't get me started.
But again, here, you just mentioned the same thing. We waited like how long for Wonder Woman 84? That's the other thing. Marvel, just like, hey, every year, we're going to put out 3 movies. What do we wait until 2022 now for this Flash movie with Michael Keaton? And remember when it came to Batman versus Superman, where they talk about it for like 4 years, and we got these little tidbits. Oh, there's a picture of
still waiting for the Cyborg movie. It was supposed to come out in 2019.
Oh yeah.
Like 4
years. I feel like Warner Brothers, they take a really short time to start making a movie, and then it takes forever before you get to see it.
Yeah. Whereas
Marvel, they take a really long time, like preparing to make a movie, and then by the time they get to filming it, they're like, okay, now we're filming. It's done a couple of months later, and like you get a good film because they took all that time to think about what they were doing, as opposed to saying, we're going to make it in 1984 because 80s.
I mean, they do a great job with the planning. Everything is like, it's cohesive with Marvel, and I feel like it's just like, it's like a Royal Rumble almost.
I want to be a fly on the wall of those meetings and just be like, these guys.
I mean, listen, they already know how this next wave is going to end. They got it.
So okay, wait. So you guys both heard how Vinny and I feel about the Snyder Cut. How do you guys feel about the Snyder Cut?
I don't know. I'm not gonna say like I really couldn't. I saw the movies with DC, and I just haven't been impressed by it. I mean, I like Batfleck. I'm probably one of Ben Affleck's few fans in this world. And he does a good job. He has a certain type, and I think that they cast him well for like that type of brooding like person. But nobody here has like a seizure disorder, right? I just feel like that, like the DC movies are like one big seizure. Like I never know where anything's going. It doesn't feel cohesive, and I can't.
It feels like Michael Bay made some of it.
Yeah, thank you. That's exactly. I feel like I'm watching Transformers, but with no light at all. So, like, I couldn't get into it. So I mean, I read everything. People are like talking about the Snyder Cut and all, like everything, but I just can't. I can't bring myself to get into it, so I just don't think about it. Like I just focus on Marvel. I don't know how I feel about Pattinson being Batman either. Like I'm just kind of.
I'm not a fan.
No.
I really liked the Joker, like the last one they put out with of course I'm gonna forget his name.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, Johnny Cash. So I think that he did an amazing job, and I think it was a really good like picture about like mental health in America. Like, I think it was just a really great picture. I don't know how they're going to tie it all together. I never know how they're going to tie anything together in DC.
I don't think they're playing anything together anymore. I think they decided that they're not trying to connect everything now.
They're just going to make standalones, and
like
randomly Jared Leto will be available for whatever with his Newberg version of the Joker.
His Newberg version.
It's just like, it's crazy to me. Like I just don't get it. I don't know how you can see what Marvel's doing and you can't at least try to replicate that.
Well, that's the problem. did, but they tried to do it without all the proper steps.
I think they're better off at
Step
just
one
making a
is
good
just
movie.
make one good movie.
Make one good movie.
Character.
Just make one. You're absolutely right. Like that's
One
what
good
the
movie.
Joker. They just made a good movie. I thought Harley Quinn was good.
Well,
I liked Harley Quinn.
Yeah, you have to start with one good movie about a hero. Like, like you have to make one good superhero movie.
Wonder Woman was good. The first Wonder Woman was good.
It was, and I agree. The first I thought Wonder Woman was going to turn the thing around.
Fun. Aquaman was fun.
Actually, I was going to say Aquaman is the one movie out of all of those films that I can watch it and just beginning to end be like, that was fun. Like I like that.
Yeah.
I like Shazam. That was a good flick.
I like Shazam.
Yeah, Shazam was interesting.
It's got some weird tone issues. It's like it wants to be a kid's movie, and then halfway through the movie, it has one of the most terrifying scenes.
My poor 9-year-old was like,
yeah, dude, like
we rented it for family night, and I remember exactly what you were talking about. We rented it for family night one night.
Bad move.
It was.
Emily looked at me. I thought the DVD player was going out the window. Like I was like, she was. I don't know if she'll watch this deep into it. She probably won't. But Emily was like furious with me because we got the kids that weekend, and yeah, because that's what we thought. Like Quinn was like, "Oh, this is gonna be so cool, Shazam, let's do it." I'm like, "Yes, let's watch it." And I was like, "This is gonna be good. I'll get my superhero fix, and everything will be fine." And then that scene happened. I'm like, "Oh God!" I'm like,
which scene are you talking about? Because I watched it with my son, and he watched it. He's now 8. We watched it maybe last year. He was 6.
The scene where Dr. Savannah takes the 7 deadly sins into his dad's boardroom, and then murders everybody by like eating them, throwing them out windows, and then the blood just like
my son made it through that.
glass.
See, what I was thinking was devastating for the scene was where the mom abandoned him at the. Because I'm like, oh, for a little kid, that would be hard.
Oh well, I mean, Andy was tougher than that.
Hey, you probably fell asleep to the board. This was you. They're in the boardroom scene. Meanwhile, Caleb's gonna be scarred. He's gonna be telling his therapist in 10 years.
Oh my gosh.
But, speaking of which, talking about scars, I think we gotta let Tim Coulson go to sleep here. I think this is the latest I think you've ever been awake.
No, good. We did this for like an hour and a half.
It is a late night.
Yeah,
it is a late night. This is fun. I want to do this again. I think I want to make one of my legacy conversations about this stuff. We should do that.
We only touched the iceberg tonight.
Yeah, I feel like we could do this again. I really enjoyed it. You know what it is for me too? Like listening to Vinny and Jean Michel talk. Like I just get I love listening to this stuff. It's just really cool.
I want to start doing more of this stuff for our shops page also. So, you know, I'll try to think of some fun stuff that we can all talk about too.
Yeah,
the best part of the comic shop is talking about comics.
There you go. And the cool thing is we're going to be doing April 22nd. Looks like it's going to be the date for the drink and draw. So what I want to do is do a live on location IncrediChat there. While people are drawing, people are talking about comics, drinking, having a great time. So more information about that coming out. Cool. So no, cool guys. Thank you so much for doing this tonight. And we'll all go backstage in a minute. Let me just throw up my little ad for next week because listen, we got a lot of awesome things happening on IncrediChat anyways. But I'm just going to show the screen for next
week. Shaking.
Good stuff. Next week, for everybody who's still with us, tune in. If you're a Punky Brewster fan, we have
Punky Brewster.
Jerry Johnson will be joining us, and she's on Family Matters. So that's next week's guest on IncrediChat. The ads are right.
Really?
Yeah, so that's gonna be a lot of fun next week. And we have spoiler the week after that, Karen Ashley, the Yellow Power Ranger, the second Yellow Power Ranger, will be with us the following week. So
nice.
So yeah, lots of good things. But I guess guys, thank you so much again for doing this. We will definitely do.
I have to ask real quick. You brought up Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not trying to keep us.
No.
Did you guys ever make homemade Power Ranger movies when you were younger? Or am I the only one? Because I
think you're a little younger than us. You're a little younger than us.
I'm not that much younger. I'm 37. How much younger are you guys?
So, dude, instead of my Power Rangers was Battle of the Planets.
All right.
Okay.
And I used to take all my action figures, wrap them up in white medical tape, and then I'd turn them into the 5 team members from Battle of the Planets.
That's
incredible. Yeah, we used to do. We would in the neighborhood. We would get a bunch, like our parents would bring home cardboard. We'd cut it out. Then we get the oil spray paint that probably gave us a lot of problems. Now that I'm thinking about it, but we'd spray paint it. I was spray painting old sweaters gold, and I'm running around the neighborhood with my parents' JVC video camera. Like,
Kids
fun.
just don't do stuff like that anymore. They just play Fortnite.
That's absolutely. Listen and
Roblox, man.
I have to admit though, if I had a PlayStation 5 or a PlayStation 4 when I was a kid, I might not have gone outside quite as much either.
Sure.
Yeah, I could see that.
True.
You're probably right.
That's why we all still have our toys too, right?
Yeah.
They don't play with toys. So, anyway, so yeah, no, guys, again, that was a great show again tonight. Everybody watching, we will see you next week on IncrediChat. Again, thank you all for coming, and we'll see you next time. Have a great night.